Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today I'm going to be talking about the hardest challenge that I will ever do in Wild Rift. I think that if I do complete this challenge, that you guys really should subscribe. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get 5 separate accounts to Sovereign in the same season, all solo queue, and each playing a different role. So as you see with this gameplay, which we're going to go over as I talk about kind of why we're doing this and everything, I'm currently Plat 1 on this account. I started Gold 4 today, got up to Plat 1. I have 2 other gold accounts. I have 1 in Emerald 1 and 1 in Diamond 4, and we're trying to get them all to Sovereign. Now, I know this is going to be extremely hard. It will literally take me probably 2,000 games to do this if I do it. And so I'm understanding that there's a completely realistic chance that I don't succeed and that I maybe get, accounts stuck in Challenger or Grandmaster. So really we're trying to see how high we can get with the eventual goal of getting Sovereign, but I'm totally okay with not getting it because really for me it's about giving you guys content on a bunch of different roles, and I am truly putting effort to get this, to be clear. I'm not just saying I'm going to do this and then I know a lot of YouTubers, they'll be like, I'm going for this, but then they never actually get it. I've said plenty of times I'm trying to get things like rank 1, I'm trying to get, Sovereign, autofill, all these other things, and I've done them. Even if I might fail the first time, I always end up doing what I say I'm going to try to do, but I want to acknowledge that this is truly something that will be so hard that I'm aware I may not do it, especially because I'm starting school in a month, and so of course that is an additional level of time that I won't be able to invest, but I will be grinding as much as possible, especially for this first month before I do go back to school. 10 to 12 hours most days, and getting in school 4 to 6 hours a day once I'm there. So with that said, I'm kind of just going to be talking over gameplays of different roles. I'm going to have a playlist for each role that I'm going to start creating, and then I'll have videos based around those roles so that you guys can follow whatever role it is that you want. Go to the playlist, find the best videos for that role. Now, I won't have a lot of my old videos in there, but I'll add the newer ones to which role it is and everything like that, so you guys can kind of follow along with whatever role you want. So with all of those, kind of initial things out of the way, we're just going to go into this gameplay, talk about sort of what we've seen at the start of our ADC climb, because ADC is the role we've been playing today. Again, we went from Gold 4 to Plat 1, and the main thing I figured out so far is that it's really all about farming, like all about farming. Sometimes your support is just going to die for no reason, even if you're gold and you're in gold, but you're way better than a gold player, like myself, where I'm obviously a Sovereign level player. Sometimes you just can't control what your teammate does. Sometimes he dies for no reason. Sometimes he decides to just flash into 3 people. Sometimes he just leaves you for no reason. But it doesn't matter in the lower ranks as long as you always get a lot of gold. So when your jungler goes and he's really inefficient, he ganks a bunch, you can take his camps in the mid game. If your team plays around you, obviously in that case you're probably going to get fed naturally. You just farm the normal way, you just play pretty normal. But if your mid laner keeps rotating a bunch to random lanes, you go and you cover his lane as much as possible. And ultimately, if you're able to get to that 3-4 item power spike as an ADC, you can carry a lot of games that look very, very unwinnable. Now in this game, my Lux actually did pretty well in the early game, and so we got a good lead and everything like that. Mainly going to be playing Xayah and Corki most likely for this push, by the way. That is currently what I'm thinking. Obviously, the more we play, maybe we'll figure out other champs, but that's my current idea for the ADC account. That's really what's been working out and what, some champs that I'm good at. I don't really like Varus anymore because on-hit's kind of his best build right now, and I hate on-hit Varus. I think that it's really, really boring. It's really frustrating to play, and I also don't think it's nearly as strong as old Lethality, but Lethality does kind of suck on Varus now. So we're really sticking to these 2 champions. But you can kind of see here, I'm pretty much playing permanently to just get pressure in the lane. Just like push, have prio, because I know that I have cleanse, I have flash. And so I'd rather poke out some plates, because I found with this new update, plates are really, really squishy. And so anytime that you can even just poke and get a couple autos off, get the turret a little lower, get a plate or 2 in the lane, you're going to get a nice lead. And that's going to allow you to hit your Bloodthirster plus boots before the first dragon, which now spawns in 6 minutes. So as an ADC now, if you're doing well in lane, you get a few plates, you can get your full item plus boots, which is absolutely OP, especially given the fact that Bloodthirster is goddamn broken. This item is so insane. It's really, really good for Xayah, and it gives you just so much survivability. So you can see here, we get ganked, but it's fine because I had my ult, I have my flash, I have my cleanse. I only even had to use my ult, and we got a lot of feathers on them as well, so we actually kind of alleviate some of that pressure there. Honestly, shouldn't have walked up for that auto, but still. I can play really aggressive with this type of champion because I have that mobility. Same kind of with Corki if you have your second ability up. and your flash, your cleanse, exhaust, whatever you take, you know you can be a lot more aggressive. But once you lose a lot of those cooldowns, you might have to be a bit more passive until they come back up. But I've been going Bloodthirster plus Magnetic pretty much every game on this champion. On Corki, I've gone Essence Reaver plus Magnetic. Magnetic Blaster might be the best ADC item on the patch, or Bloodthirster. One of these two items, they're both really, really insane. Magnetic Blaster now gives 25 AD and movement speed when you proc the passive. It gives 25 AD naturally, not when you proc the passive. But then it also gives movement speed when you proc the passive. So it's really, really insane. And then Bloodthirster gives you the spell shield now, or not spell shield, it gives you the shield bow passive, the lifeline passive. Sorry, if you can't tell, I've been playing Wild Rift a lot. My brain's kind of not working. But yeah, so those two items are really, really insane right now. And the pace of the game as a whole is just really, really fast. So as you saw there, we're able to get the turret early on in the game. And that's a really common thing now. Turrets often drop around, 6 minutes turret plates drop. People go for an objective. You can just stick around and get first turret now for free, because the resistances when the plates are up are really high when the turret gets low HP. But they don't get any higher when the turret's low HP if the plates are dropped. So you can easily take down first turret around 6 minutes. The pacing of the game overall, it matters a lot more how you do in lane. Because if you do well in lane, you get control of that turret, and then you take the turret down early, you can start rotating to other parts of the map. So here, for example, my Vladimir rotated top, so I go and I grab myself a wave in mid lane for absolutely free, and I'm just able to, again, play now around other turrets potentially. I've taken that bot turret already, so if I can get control over a lane that has a turret up, it means that I can eventually play to take that turret as well. And so that's really one of the main things I've found, especially in the lower ranks, you can do. You just take advantage of getting these additional waves, playing around other turrets after you take your own, but then still making sure you go back and you cover your own turret like I do here when the enemy do pressure it, of course. So I'm not completely abandoning my lane, but because my teammates are kind of over-forcing the fights and whatever, I'm ending up looking for the rotations onto their lanes and taking their gold. Now, unfortunately here, our teammate did die right away, and then I flashed forward, and honestly, I should not have flashed forward. I should have just accepted the L there, so I do end up giving away a shutdown, and that was definitely a bit greedy of me. So you can see the game's actually not going that well, but lucky for us, my champion is really, really strong and I need to stop saying really, but my champion's very strong against Nautilus, Renekton, and Vi, because they dive onto Xayah, and you can easily ult, you can cleanse, you can do all these things. So I know if I'm just able to farm properly, I get my gold and wherever I can, I go topside, I go wherever I need to get gold, I can still get really strong and be able to carry the game if I just hit my item spike. ADC is all about hitting those certain items, whether or not your team is 20-0 or 0-20. If you're able to get a certain amount of items, you can carry nearly any unwinnable game. Now, you are at the mercy of your teammates in terms of decisions, so they decide when you engage. They decide when to go in. They decide, if they want to protect you or not. But your main job is to just get yourself as much farm as possible, get as strong as possible, and then hope that your teammates play well enough around you, and make sure you just play the fight as well as you can. So it's a role where, for me, ADC is the most frustrating role when you're losing, because it feels like you can't do anything. You're just at the mercy of your teammates. But it's the most fun role to win on, because when you get really fed, you're just 1v9, pet to kill, super fun. And so it has kind of highs and lows. For example, here, my team has completely lost control of the map. I can't even walk up for a side lane wave, or else I get caught like this. And so I kind of realized, like, oh yeah, I can't even walk up this far, because the Vi potentially could have been here, as she obviously was. And again, we just kind of lost control of our jungle. Our turrets are dead, and overall the game is just looking really rough right now. Holy crap, I need to stop saying really. My brain, I'm sorry guys, my fault. We'll calm down, we'll take a breath. I've kind of been talking for 9 minutes straight. We're gonna calm down, just like I need to calm down in this game. I might currently be down 3 kills as a team. We're down a bunch of gold. Turrets are getting pushed in. Nothing's looking really great right now. Teammate randomly goes in and dies, but it's all right. We're down 5k gold. Just need to take a deep breath. Realize that I still have a bunch of gold. In this game currently, I have 8,300 gold. The highest person on their team, I think, has 8,100 or around that. And so I'm still hitting my power spikes. I'm already on my 2 items. Navori third is extremely strong on my champion right now as well. As long as I'm able to get that farm and I'm able to set up for, the 3rd dragon or the Baron or something like that, we're going to be totally fine. And that's really kind of how you need to approach ADC. Just be calm, accept that sometimes there's nothing you can do, You can't control the way your teammates engage. Whereas if you're on jungle, you have a lot higher agency, right? So if you're deciding what role you want to main, ADC really is the role for people with a lot of patience, who can deal with the bad teammates and just like to focus on, you know, their own mechanics, their own self. They want to be very selfish. They want to play to 1v9, and they want to understand that, you know, you can't control every game, but you can control yourself. And that's kind of like really the main thing to understand about ADC. It's why I honestly don't like the role. It's not a fun role for me, but I am trying to, you know, make sure I can give you guys content for every role. And so there we're able to peel ourselves when they do engage on us, and then Vi ends up going in. And so again here, all we're doing, we're just hitting the front line, being patient, making sure we get as much damage off as possible, stack up for a lethal tempo, and whenever someone walks forward, we're pretty much autoing them. It's about that simple. I'm a little bit safer here because I don't have my flash or my ultimate, and so I need to be a bit more careful, but my Vladimir does end up kind of popping off on the side, and we're able to chase the Zeri down here. She actually bursted me down. I did not expect that much burst damage from her. Zeri is a really strong champion on the patch right now. And yeah, I just didn't expect that much damage to come out from her, so she did end up killing me, and the fight kind of goes, you know, not the best, but we did see there, we kind of have a glimpse of hope. Like, hey, we're scaling pretty well. Fight went well. Honestly, even I made a mistake there, and it still works out decently well. So the main thing we kind of got to focus on is just getting, you know, further and further into the game, scaling up, and we should be fine. Our top laner also is like a mega inting, and we're still, you know, winning these fights. We're doing decently well in them. So that's really the main purpose here. And then, like, again, some of the most important things, and we're going to talk a lot more in the future videos on the most important things of different roles and whatever. This video obviously is more me kind of explaining what my challenge is, and just going over a gameplay. But some of the most important things that you need to understand on ADC, or one of the most important things, is spell tracking. So you need to understand which spells you have to react to the enemy's spells, and you need to identify who's most dangerous. So, like, if we look at this game, for example, I lock in Xayah because Xayah is really good into stuff like Vi, Nautilus, who can point and click CC and engage on you. And so in a fight, I need to look at what spells they end up using of those most dangerous spells, and then when those are gone, or when I have things to react to them like Ultimate or Cleanse, I can play more aggressive, and when those things are not available, when those things are available and I don't have anything to respond, I play more passive. So here, for example, you see I'm perfectly fine with auto-attacking the front line as much as humanly possible, because I have my ult up. I saw Nautilus ult early on in the fight, I saw Renekton go in and W, and I knew that I was really not in any danger. So when those types of things are, you know, true, when the spells are already out or you have ways to respond, you play aggressive, you play for your autos, you walk up aggressively. But let's say that the enemy Vi, you know, had ult and I had no ultimate, I had no cleanse, I had no stasis. I'm probably going to wait for her to look, you know, and go in before I'm really doing much, or if Nautilus has ult or whoever. Not only is it important to keep track of CC, but it's also important to keep track of fed assassins or just fed people in general. So the enemy have a very fed Talon, you know, you maybe wait for Talon to use its first ability to dash in before you really go aggro. Or if they have a really fed Orianna, make sure you're keeping track of that ball 24/7, that type of thing. So just identifying who's strong, making sure you understand, you know, what's a danger to you, how you can respond, and then just going from there. Again, ADC is the most simple role. It requires the least kind of brain power. It really ultimately comes down to, can I farm well? And can I team fight well? Like, these are really in laning as well. So can I lane well? Can I team fight well? And can I farm well? If you're able to do those things, you're probably good. As it relates to laning, again, we'll have future videos where we'll probably focus more on that. As it relates to team fighting, it's just really important. Again, the spell tracking concept, probably by far the most important thing. And then here again, you just saw, like, I know I can go forward. I have the Bloodthirster. I'm super fed. I have my stasis. I have my ult. I have everything that I need. And so I can go as aggro as I want, chase down these people, and I do that, and we're kind of able to snowball from here. So, again, I know I'm not necessarily talking super hard on the gameplay here, because, again, as I said, we're going to do that a lot throughout this entire series. ADC, jungle, mid, top, any role, support. Teaching you guys how to solo queue, as well, kind of explaining what's the hardest and easiest. There, I get caught. That was pretty stupid of me. But we'll explain what the easiest, the hardest roles are, too, you know, differences in these roles. But those are really the three main things to keep in mind. So, if you're an ADC player, or you're looking to get an ADC, or you just want to understand ADC, and you're struggling to know where to start, what to look at first, look at your lane phase, figure out how you're doing on lane. I have a video on how to do, you know, lane in dual lane already, but I'll make more. So you can figure that out, obviously. Again, the farming thing, which really relates to, as I was kind of talking about in the mid game, covering your teammates' lanes if they end up rotating. You know, like if my mid laner rotates, I might cover his lane and then go back to my lane after to get that additional gold. Play around the lanes that have turrets up. So like if you already take your bot turret early, maybe you rotate towards mid, play more aggro for that, and only go back to lane to protect your turret. understanding those types of rotations to get gold on yourself, and then understanding your power spikes for team fights as well. So what do I have that makes me strong in a team fight? Like here, for example, again, they can't engage on me. I know they can't engage on me, so I know if they walk forward on me, I'm just going to click my buttons and they lose. Again, it's just a simple understanding of a champion. So this is a very simple game because my champion works really well into theirs. And again, we'll show you guys more complicated games in the future, as I keep mentioning. This series is going to allow me to teach you guys a lot about a lot of different roles. And as it relates to this game, it was very simple. I have a lot of tools to respond to what the enemy needs, so I'm able to pretty freely auto attack. Like even here, I can heal up here. I know my champion just wins this. I'm super fed. I'm up a level. I have cleanse. I have stasis, and I don't even need the stasis. And then again, Bloodthirster is an insanely OP item right now, and we're just able to melt through their tanks. And so in this type of game, it's a lot simpler. You can be more cocky. You can be more, up in their face. If I'm a champion like Varus with on-hit, for example, as I was mentioning earlier, you have to be way more safe. You don't have those tools to peel yourself, which is why on-hit Varus feels hard, even if it does a lot of damage. Because you don't have, any form of mobility. You don't have a dash. You don't have anything like that. You don't have any form of invulnerability or protection. All you have is your ultimate, which is a high cooldown, obviously, because it's an ultimate, and is also easy to cleanse or QSS. So that is why these types of champions like Xayah have that really good inbuilt self peel, and they're really good for solo queue because I don't have to rely on my Lux to peel for me. I don't have to rely on my Morgana. I don't have to rely on anyone to shield me or protect me. I can do that myself. I have an additional level of agency with the defensive tools I have. Whereas again, playing a lot of other champions, you don't have that, which is why for me, I always like champions that can lane well and have some type of self peel or mobility to play in solo queue. So if I'm playing duo queue, I'm more happy to play a champion like on-hit Varus if I wanted. But again, in this solo queue type of environment, a champion like Xayah, champion like Corki, I like Ezreal too. I don't really play him right now. I used to play him a lot. But those types of champions, they just fit better in this type of solo queue environment. Here we get an insane amount of feathers off after they try to engage on us. And I mean, we're just too fed at this point. They can't really do anything. And we just play the fight in a really, really simple manner, just front to back, constantly. Understanding what our champion does well, again, and we farmed well early game, so we were strong enough, and we end the game there. So again, gonna be trying to get Sovereign on all 5 roles. I know this is gonna be super hard. I know it sounds like crazy, but I want something crazy. I want to try, to push myself and see if I'm able to get it. If I'm not able to get it, it's not the end of the world. You guys can unsubscribe and unfollow me and say Talon's a stupid idiot. If I don't get it, if you want to do that, you can do that. But either way, ADC account is called TTV Talon WR. You'll see my other accounts as the days go on. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you tomorrow.